Today on God Talks, I'm going to talk about the Comforter. Okay, now, who is the Comforter? What is the Comforter? Okay, when did we hear about the Comforter? Jesus Christ said He is the Comforter. Okay, the Comforter that covers you when you're sad, lonely, feeling like no one understands you. That is when the Comforter is there for you. Okay, so we need to understand, when did Jesus talk about the Comforter? So Jesus talked about the Comforter, and He said, I will not leave you. Remember, the disciples were totally dependent on Jesus for their direction, right? So He said He will not leave them without a Comforter, right? And so He said He will send the Holy Ghost, basically, and that was in Acts. So after Jesus died for us on the cross, and then He rose again, and then He met the disciples in the upper room. Okay, read Acts. And He sent the Comforter. Okay, they're all sitting in the upper room, and all of them began to speak in tongues, all of them. And they were so joyful that some people thought they were drunk, okay? I mean, they were so excited about God. So that is the Comforter. Now, I only read the King James Version of the Bible because the other Bibles say adversary and helper. Now, when you have some bad things happen to you, you want a comforter, right? Not an adversary or a helper, don't you want a comforter? Okay, and so we have to understand what the Comforter is and the purpose of the Comforter. So you're in spiritual warfare, okay? Here's the purpose of the Comforter. You're in spiritual warfare. It says we war not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, and high places. Now, in warfare, it suggests that there's going to be fighting, right? And there's going to be attacks, and there's going to be harm done, right? So we've got to understand that when harm is done, what kind of harm it is. Well, in physical warfare, when you have harm, you get injured physically. In spiritual warfare, sometimes it's physical, but most of the time it's emotional, okay? And so you get hurt by others. Others judge you. Others are cruel to you. Others are insulting and mean and vicious. Even the closest people, remember, the closest people hurt Jesus, right? And so the ones even betrayed by His closest disciple, Judas. So Judas Iscariot. So we got to understand that we are in spiritual warfare, okay? And we don't war against flesh and blood, right? But against principalities, powers, and high places. So we don't war against people. It's these spirits, okay, that come and they try to pressure the people emotionally to react. And then people react and they hurt each other verbally most of the time. Okay, and so that's spiritual warfare. Now, when you get wounded and hurt, where do you go? Where do you go when you get wounded and hurt? You need to go to the Comforter, right? Because Jesus Christ is called the Great Physician, right? And He is always with you, no matter what. Jesus is always with you. He's always walking with you, and He's always with you. He's always there for you. And so, who is the Great Physician? Who is the Great Physician, the surgeon in the Bible is God, is Jesus Christ. And so you remember that God is always there. He's always there. He's always with you. Even though He's an invisible God and you can't see Him, step by step, He's always with you. He knows everyone, and He knows where everyone is. He knows all about you. He knows your thoughts. He knows your uprisings and downsittings. And He loves us, okay? Not because we're perfect, because we're not. But He's always with us. Remember, the Comforter is always with us.